This is what's so sad, so frustrating, so exasperating, what creates outrage. We knew they were going to wind up killing some of our people. Yes, we're fighting back against the proxies, but they're like, rats. They're all over the place, running around, hiding, general population. There are all these different restraints and constraints on the troops in terms of what they can do to defend themselves. 165 attacks on U.S. troops by Iran-backed terrorists. Now, 3 of us are dead. Drone attack in Jordan. They're not going to be the last. They are sitting ducks. William Rivers, 46 years old. Kennedy Sanders, just 24. Breonna Moffett, just 23. Dozens of other soldiers injured in that attack, and so many others. Why? Because we haven't had a way to get Iran to stop doing this. Now, Biden says we will retaliate. Well, how? Top Republicans in Congress are demanding that Biden attack Iran directly, including attacks inside Iran. I'm sure they do want that. Why? Because it'll be a hellscape with horrible implications that Biden will own. So what is the thinking? What is the planning? And what will happen next? Let's bring in first, from the political perspective, Georgia Republican Congressman on the House Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Committee. And before I paint him with the wrong brush, Congressman Rich McCormick is not saying, I want to go bomb Tehran, but he's saying we should have done something before now, and now there are things we can do to deter this from happening again. Congressman, thank you for joining us. What's your take on the situation?
Well, first of all, to take this very personal, these are 3 Georgians out of a Georgian base, Fort Moore. And if you look at what just happened, we were warning about this for weeks. I've been talking about this on the news for weeks, that weakness usually ends up in war. You have peace through strength. You mentioned at the opening of the hour, you started talking about talk versus action. Reagan didn't warn people what he was going to do in Libya when he went after Muammar Gaddafi. He just did it. He showed strength, and Muammar Gaddafi became irrelevant very quickly. If you want to cut the head of the snake off, go after the snake. Like you said, you start a war with Iran, you have something to worry about. But think about this. You have a country that's producing, distributing, and encouraging the use of weapons against U.S. soldiers, Marines, and sailors all around the globe. It doesn't matter if they're in the Middle East or they're allies in the Ukraine. These people are constantly going against us. This government in Iran is evil, and they need to be confronted in a very direct way, and everything should be on the table. Those production of those weapon systems should be on the table, destroying that production. If you're the one who actually goes after us, every time they send somebody after us from a location in Yemen, and by the way, this is a group that doesn't just back Hamas, but Hezbollah and the Houthis and the Russians. Every single enemy we have, Iran backs, and they're bad actors in every sense of the word. They want to kill Americans. They want to create hate and discontent. They want to cause instability, and they are trying to kill Americans. I say it again. We are already at war with these people.
So, Congressman, let's look at it pragmatically. You mentioned Reagan. People should Google Operation Praying Mantis. It's exactly what I think the smarter minds are calling for now. You don't go to war head-to-head with Iran because there's nothing for you to win in it. You're going to make them look like a victim, but you can take out a lot of the things that will send them a message that they're not getting right now. That's what you seem to be calling for also. What would that look like, and what would the risk be, and what would the reward be?
Well, first of all, let's think about how we got here. We freed up billions of dollars through the Biden administration. That money came back to them. We allowed them to gain access to more oil money. We allowed them all kinds of latitude and leeway, trying to make friends with an enemy. They don't understand that. They only understand strength. Every time there's a terrorist organization who sends any munitions at us, that base needs to be taken out. I don't care where it's at. Yemen seems to be the preponderance of those attacks coming from the western portion of that are controlled by the Houthis. But anytime you have a supply chain coming from Iran, that needs to be cut off. Any money needs to be cut off to Iran. I don't care how, but every single penny we can cut off or seize from Iran needs to be seized. And I tell you what, if we have munitions that were caught that are coming from Iran to these other places, we need to destroy the munitions. I'm sorry. If you're producing, distributing, and encouraging the use of weapons against our people, we need to take that away from you in a very real and not a subtle
Praying
way.
Mantis did some of those things, but did more. Went after actual Iranian military assets that were operating in the region that they felt at the time the U.S. and its coalition felt were instrumental in what they were trying to stop. Do you believe that should happen again, targeting Iranian assets?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm getting to. If you have the assets that you're bringing to bear against the United States, those assets need to be taken away violently if need be.